Nole Insiders game preview coming at you. Florida State versus Miami, 8 p.m. on ABC. Still in Miami. I know that was the big talk this week with Hurricane Matthew coming through, where or if this game would be played, but looks like we're still in Miami.
Yeah, it's a good thing. You know, look, as much as Florida State fans might like to daydream about the idea of getting a game against your rival that was going to be a game on the road to a neutral site or somewhere else, you want that game to go off as scheduled, and playing at Miami is always fun for Florida State and certainly memorable. So while it, makes the game as difficult as we probably would have expected it to be, it feels right to have it down there.
Let's get to know a little bit about the Miami Hurricanes. Of course, they're another Coastal Division foe, 4-0 on the season, 1-0 in the conference, ranked number 10 in the polls. We've faced so many great offenses this year. This is a great defense. They're ranked 7th in total defense, giving up 253 points or yards per game.
253 points per game.
That'd be pretty terrible, actually.
That's not so good.
Brad Kaya, of course, he's 12th in the nation in passing efficiency, 8 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, a 170.5 rating. And this team hasn't trailed all season. They've either been tied or ahead on the scoreboard all season. And, oh yeah, Tim, they're one of our biggest rivals.
Yeah, and to top that all off, as any college football fan and Florida State fan would know, there's a familiar face roaming the sideline at Miami this year. Mark Richt, a longtime FSU assistant, was FSU's offensive coordinator for 2 national championships, is now the head coach at Miami, which is also his alma mater. So that adds a little bit of extra juice to it, if you will. And Miami, I think, is believing in themselves under Mark Richt. If you look at that schedule, they haven't played, certainly not the challenging slate that Florida State has, starting with Florida A&M. They played, I believe, Florida Atlantic, Appalachian State, and then finally Georgia Tech. But 4-0 is 4-0, especially for a team that's trying to rebuild its foundation and rebuild its confidence. So you can absolutely bet that given the way that Miami's season has started and seeing what Florida State has done over the first month of the season as well, Miami is going to be coming to this game believing in themselves as much as they possibly could.
Confidence is the big word there because, like you said, 4-0 is 4-0, and if you're confident that you're playing well, you're going to play better.
Not only that, but I don't know if you saw, Miami's got the new throwback uniforms that they're going to wear that harkens back to the Jim Kelly, Michael Irvin era back when they were winning all those national titles. So, and you know how football players see all those YouTube videos when they get new uniforms whenever they all lose their minds. And I know that's a soft factor, if you will, but they're going to be fired up for it, and Florida State is going to need to be ready.
Now to the more tangible part of this with our stats.
What an idea.
Thanks to the guys at Pro Football Focus once again. We're going to talk play action passing, and we have 2 ends of the spectrum here. DeAndre Francois ranks 12th in the nation in adjusted completion percentage at play action passes. They've thrown 27.2 passes off of play action, and his completion percentage is about 19% higher. On the other side of the spectrum is Brad Kaya. He's 115th in the nation. They throw 28.1% in play action, but he completes less passes under play action than he does actually throwing the ball, dropping back.
Just normally? Well, what that says to me from the Florida State perspective, I think, is the pretty obvious one, is the impact of Dalvin. The impact of Dalvin Cook. When you've got Florida State establishing the run with Dalvin, feeding him the way they have over the last few weeks, and certainly him running as effectively as he has over the last 2 games, especially those defenses start creeping up, and they're more susceptible to the play fake involved with play action. So I think that's almost the blueprint for Florida State, and they've talked about using the run to establish the pass. What do you like to do? Hand the ball off to Dalvin Cook, let him soften up the defense, and then as those linebackers and safeties start creeping up into the box a little bit, then you can fake it and go over the top. It's a perfect blueprint for Florida State. It's something that obviously a lot of college football offenses like to do, but Florida State has been able to do it really well, and I think that's obviously a credit to Dalvin Cook, but also a credit to DeAndre Francois for being able to sell that play fake and also step up and make those throws.
Which now leads us into our matchup of the week. Yes, Walton and Yerby have been fantastic on the ground for the Hurricanes, but Florida State has struggled mightily against the pass. Stacey Coley, one of the best in the biz out there for Miami. It's going to be an interesting matchup.
It absolutely will. I'm curious to see, look, Brad Kaya is a fantastic quarterback, and he's had a lot of success against Florida State over the last 2 years, and Stacey Coley is a really good receiver. But I'm also interested to see, this will be the first time, I think, this season that Florida State will face an offense that kind of looks like theirs, more pro style. If Mark Richt sticks true to what we've seen from him over the past several years, it'll be more of a pro style offense. You won't see the hurry up type stuff that we've seen from North Carolina and USF and Louisville. I don't know that they'll spread you out as much. So it might be a more conventional style offense, which could, I think, help Florida State's defense and maybe regain some confidence. But they're still going to have to be, mindful of Stacey Coley, and when those guys, whether it's Stacey Coley or Yerby out of the backfield or whatever the case may be, tackling is always going to be important. Florida State hasn't always had an easy time tackling this year, and it's basic football. If a guy gets the ball, you got to bring him down. If you can't, it turns a 5-yard gain into a 25-yard gain, and we saw that as a problem against North Carolina. It's something that needs to be corrected by Saturday.
There you have it, Seminole fans. One of the best rivalries in all of college football takes center stage on Saturday evening, 8 p.m. Your Nole Insiders will be there. Make sure you check out our 3 keys to victory before the game on Saturday. And, of course, afterwards, Tim Linnefelt will have his analysis. We'll have our video highlights, recap, and reaction from head coach Jimbo Fisher and players as Florida State takes on 10th-ranked Miami. So for Tim Linnefelt, I'm Lane Hurt. Go Noles.